Hey guys, and welcome back. Huge month this month for game pickups. I had a really good month finding some really cheap deals and some really good stuff that I'd been hunting for a while. So we're going to kind of jump into things. Again, we're going to start with some of the oldest of the generations of games and work our way forward to the more newer stuff. So we'll start off with Virtual Racing Deluxe for the 32X Complete. Haven't run across it, and I don't have a very big 32X collection. I think I only have like 4 other games for it, all except for one complete. So I also managed to find finally a Sega Saturn 3D controller. It was just kind of laying there at one of the stores I usually frequent, and he picked one up for real cheap. So he gave me a really good deal on it, which is pretty cool. Haven't run across any of those in a really long time. So continuing with the Saturn stuff, I actually found a few games around town that normally don't pop up. I found AMOC, which is kind of a mech fighter type thing. Along with that, I also found another mech game, a MechWarrior 2. The cases are all in really good condition, although they kind of seem to have some sun damage or maybe some scratching. One of the biggest surprises that I ended up finding, one of the most frustrating ones, there's kind of a story to this. Matt and I were at Disc Replay, and there was a whole stack of Saturn games where I found not these other ones. They were mostly sports games. They had some of the fighting games which I already had, like Marvel Superheroes and Children of the Atom type stuff. But what they found was a Mega Man X4 complete. Unfortunately, when I brought it to the counter, I also realized that there's no game in it. So they said, well, we'll put the case on hold for you, and if it shows up in the next couple days, we'll give you a call. So I left my number and everything. A week went by, and they still didn't find the game. And I finally went in, and it said, the game hasn't shown up in a week. Do you guys think you'll find it? One of the employees thinks that while they had them stacked when they were cleaning them on the table, it maybe got knocked into the trash, which is unfortunate because it means there's one less copy of Mega Man 4 in the world. So, needless to say, they never found it, so I made them a deal. I said, well, sell me the case, because they were asking only, like, $50 for the game total, which is a steal, because this game normally goes for about 80 or more. And they said, well, we'll sell you the case for $20, which is still in really good condition. So for $20, I walked out with the case and manual. I did end up finding a standalone disc on Amazon for $30. So in total, I still ended up spending $50 for it. But the seller had said that the disc was scratched, just needed to be rebuffed. I'm like, well, for $30, I'm going to take the chance. So about a week later, the disc arrived, and sure enough, it was scratched all to hell. So I took it to 2 different places. I both had them buffer it and clean it up. They got most of the scratches off, except for 2 larger ones that appeared on it. The game plays just fine, except for it freezes up during certain cutscenes. And the music tends to stop working. It just kind of repeats, so you'll hear da 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 da, and it doesn't actually play the music. But it is still playable. The game itself does not freeze just when there's actually a video playing. Matt was also nice enough. Matt found a copy of Virtual Fighter, or King of Fighters 95 for the PlayStation Complete, and he had another copy. But he's like, the copy that he currently had didn't have a manual. So I said, well, I'll take it off your hands. So Matt was nice enough to give me his extra copy of King of Fighters 95. And I've been on a real big King of Fighters kick lately. Along with that, I also picked up Neo Geo, or SNK's Arcade Volume 1 for the PSP. Not the greatest version of the game. There are some hang-ups on it. It does lag a little. But overall, if just want something simple, it's going to pick up. Also, my Target was having a sale where they were kind of clearancing off their older games for $10 each, or 50% off. But I ended up picking up Gods of War, Sparta, Ghost of Sparta. Normally it's $20, so I got it for 10, which is really cool. I'm not a huge God of War fan, but for $10 for another PSP game, why not? I also ended up getting House of the Dead 2 and 3 for the Wii, just because that was another kick for that. I also picked up Bullet Witch, which I'd been hunting for a while. I actually found it at a thrift store for like $5. Unfortunately, it is missing the manual, but I happen to know where that manual is at, and may have to go pick it up sometime. Nope, I'm like throwing everything here. This actually got a swap meet. Adam just kind of... I actually got this a few months ago, and I keep forgetting about it. But Adam had an extra copy of BMX Triple X. I said I'd take it. It's a horrible game. It's funny, but yeah. I also found this one for $3. I actually used to own this game. Bought it brand new at Best Buy for $10. It's a really bad game, really hard. It actually cheats, at least to me. The bosses use a gun and just shoot you from across the screen, and there's nothing you can do about it. It was frustrating, and I got rid of it. And then I was like, well, why did I do that? I like Samurai Showdown, so I ended up just getting it back. Along with that Target special, I also ended up picking up Ninja Gaiden, or Gaiden, Sigma Plus. It's still a wrapper because I haven't gotten around to actually playing it yet, so I don't have an opinion on it. I also got... this kind of disappoints me and excites me at the same time. I got Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1. Now, this is the standard edition version. I was up at 2 a.m. to do the limited edition. There was only 1,000 of them made, and they would only put them out at midnight Pacific Standard Time, which is 2 a.m. here. So I was up, and within 3 minutes, it sold out. And I was like, no, there's got to be more. There's no way, because they were supposed to limit it to 1 per person. Well, that didn't happen. People got away with like 3, 4, 5 copies at a time. And then they're turning around, they're selling them on Amazon again for like $200, $300, which is insane. And it was only like $57 to begin with. The collector's edition came with the game itself, a Vita case, and I think a soundtrack, and a kind of a 2D pixel keychain. And it was the keychain that limited it to 1,000 because it was actually the keychain that was given in the Japanese version. I thought I had it because I got the confirmation saying my order went through, and I got the email an hour later saying, congratulations, you are confirmed. So I was like thinking I actually had a copy. And sure enough, a day passed, 2 days, 3 days passed, and it still didn't ship. So I, chatted with a rep at Amazon and said, hey, how come it's shipped yet? And he said, well, don't worry, your order's fine. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll take your word for it. Sure enough, later that morning, I got another email saying, we're sorry, because of not enough copies, we're canceling your order. So that was sad. Thankfully, though, I did have the standard copy reserved already at GameStop, so I just went over and picked it up. So at least I have the game itself, but it is not the limited edition collector's edition, which really sucks. And I know a lot of people had also gotten their cancellation notice as well, and some people just didn't get it. So it was really difficult, really hard, and a lot of the scalpers and resellers ended up getting copies, which sucks. I also got Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. Hopefully we'll start this game soon. But yeah, backlog is huge right now. Also, I decided to take a chance and for the first time use GameStop's online ordering. For, I think it was like $6, because I was in my King of Fighters thing, I wanted the Orochi Saga for the Wii. And in a week, actually just yesterday, it showed up finally. Which I was really disappointed with how GameStop does their stuff. It was just a compressed, sealed brown bag, essentially. And sadly, it was not complete because I thought it was coming from the warehouse, but I don't know. But I got their crappy reprinted version. The game is inside, but the box is kind of smashed. It's really bad. You can tell on the side here, maybe. It was all kind of smashed in. So really kind of disappointed by that, but that's what you get, I guess. I also ended up picking up, if I can get it here, this massive thing. The Tales of Xillia Collector's Edition, which comes with the figurine, the steel case, the soundtrack, the game itself, a plushie, and a replica pocket watch. And I'm actually kind of disappointed the pocket watch isn't a real pocket watch. It's just a plastic replica with a mirror, so it's like a compact. But I'm about 7 hours into the game right now, and I'm enjoying it. So, it's a fun game. So, on to the Dreamcast stuff. Getting further along, which is great. We'll start with, Matt and I went up to Game Exchange of Madison again. Great place to go if you're ever around that area. Highly, highly, highly recommend stopping in. He actually ended up getting a whole stack of Dreamcast stuff in, and I ran up there. But he got a bunch of the demo discs from the magazine, and I already had like 3 or 4 of them, so I ended up picking up some of the ones that he had that I didn't have. So I think I'm only missing like 2 more of the demo discs, but they'll come as they are. As for the games, I got Star Wars Demolition, NHL 2K2, Flag to Flag, Flogan Brothers, Sydney 2000, Sega Bass Fishing, White Label. I keep running into this thing on the All-Stars version with the yellow or the orange tag. Finally found one that wasn't. Vanishing Point, 4x4 Revolution, which is an okay game. I'll save that one for later. I actually found a F355 complete challenge. This one's really hard to come by. I was surprised I actually found it for like $10. Because it usually goes for anywhere around $20-25 and it's going up in price. Buzz Lightyear, Star Command, which is I think the second Toy Story game. One I've been hunting for a long time. This is like one of my favorite light gun games. Confidential Mission, ESPN NBA Tonight, another Star Wars Jedi Power Battles, Air Force Delta, Sega Rally 2, which surprisingly I didn't have, TNN Motorsports Hardcore Heat, Tony Pro Skater, first one. Another really uncommon game that I ended up coming across, which was weird. I hadn't seen one of these before anywhere. Rainbow Six Rogue Spear, I guess, is kind of pretty uncommon, even though it's pretty cheap. Another expensive one, Wacky Races, Test Drive Le Mans, Metropolis Street Racer, really good game, Test Drive V Rally. The last one is a little bit of a story that I have. There's actually a Craigslist ad where a guy had a handful of Dreamcast games, the Interact light gun, and a black Sega Sports controller. Not only, I had most of the games, they were the original Rainbow Six, House of the Dead 2, they had Resident Evil Code Veronica, which I already had, and some other, like Hydro Thunder and a bunch of sports games. But you know, the one reason I wanted to pick it up at first was the fact that I didn't have Blue Stinger, and he had it, so I had to pick it up. I was like, for $30, you get all these extra stuff. The other thing I started thinking about too was the fact that he had a black Sega Sports controller and the games that generally come with the sports collection. So I sent him a message and I asked, you know, do you have the actual Sega Sports Black Dreamcast? Because I had been looking for one, but they're always like $45-50 when you find them because they're not that common. And he mentioned, well, I have it, but he said it didn't work. He tried plugging it in and all I got was a fuzzy picture and the colors were all messed up. And he said, I don't feel comfortable selling it to somebody if it didn't work. I was like, okay, well, I understand. So when I went to pick it up, I actually asked to see if I could see what the system looked like. And it was in really good condition. And he just felt bad. He's like, if you want it, I'll give it to you for free. But he said it doesn't work. And he included all the cords and everything for it. I'm like, that's fine. I'll take it. Maybe I can restore it or whatever and just give me a project to kind of work on during the evenings when I'm doing anything after work. So I brought it home, got the games in, tried them all out. They all worked perfectly fine. And then I went and hooked up the system, and to my surprise, it actually worked fine. There was no problem. So I don't know if he just plugged it in wrong or if maybe his TV was bad. But it's in like an awesome condition here. Plays really nice. So I ended up getting it, but it hardly looked like it's been used. It's really clean. Actually cleaned it up a little bit. Had some, your usual dust on it. But so I got the Sega Sports system, and a bunch of games for $30. That's another awesome deal. So, cool stuff. That brings me up to a total of 84 Dreamcast games now. So I've only got about 60 or 61 more games to find. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of months. Maybe by next year, I'm going to kind of slow down on this, because this is a pile of like 24 Dreamcast games. So I'm really going to start limiting myself just for the fun of it, and especially now that I've got most of the common stuff, and it's just the uncommon things I'm looking for. So I'm probably only going to be limiting to about maybe 3 games per month now to pick up for Dreamcast. Everything else is just going to be kind of a bonus if I end up getting it, because October is going to be a big month with a lot of new releases. And some other stuff coming in September too, because there's a couple new video games coming out that I'm really looking forward to. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next month.